Jitterbug Perfume. Jitterbug Perfume is American writer Tom Robbins' fourth novel and was listed on the New York Times bestseller list in 1985. The book follows two interweaving storylines, one in Ancient Eurasia and one in the present day. The story connects dueling perfumers in Seattle, Paris, and New Orleans to a bottle of incomparable perfume created by two unlikely but defiant lovers of the past who seek immortality. Orchestrated by a mysterious Irish philosopher, the past and the present collide when the characters come together and discover the unexpected path to life everlasting. The book was first published in 1984 by Bantam Books and later published by Random House. Plot summary. A powerful and chiseled 8th century king named Alaba narrowly escapes fratricide at the hands of his own subjects from a custom of killing the leader at the first sign of aging. After fleeing, no longer a king but only a man, he travels through Eurasia on a newfound quest for the secret to longevity. Eventually, he stumbles upon the stamping grounds of the pungent goat god Pan, who is slowly losing his godly powers as the world turns toward Christianity. Pan encourages Alaba to continue east in search of the masters of immortality. Meanwhile, in the present day, Priscilla, a part-time waitress and amateur perfumer, is stalled in recreating the fragrance from the last remaining drops of a 300-year-old perfume bottle in her possession. She rejects the sexual advances of her co-worker Ricky. She begins an affair with an eccentric Irish philosopher, Wigstaneby, who runs a clinic for immortality research called the Last Laugh Foundation. She attempts to ignore the mysterious deliveries of beats she keeps receiving at her apartment. In New Orleans, Priscilla's stepmother, Madame de Valliere, a once successful perfumer, is also working to recreate the same fragrance as Priscilla. Madame's protégé Vilou urges her to attempt to formulate a scent that will compete with their historic competition in Paris. The two have their hands on premium Jamaican jasmine supplied by a mysterious man with a helmet of swarming bees, Bingo Pajama, a symbolic figure in the story. In Paris, Claude and Marcel Lefebvre of the Lefebvre Parfumerie are not concerned with the small perfume house in New Orleans, but rather their new scent and its synthetic base. Claude has been charged with keeping an eye on Marcel's stability. Though the creative knows of the company, his latest ideas on evolution of a new consciousness have got his uncle, the owner, Luc Lefebvre, more than a bit unsettled. It is revealed that Luc has placed Marcel's love of Vilou as a secret agent to send him information about Perfumerie de Valliere. In Ancient Eurasia, a heinous widow commits sati, a ritual of self-immolation. Alaba consoles a young girl, Cadra, who was horrified at the sight of the woman attempting to escape the flames of the funeral pyre. Years later, the girl, now a young woman, arrives at a lamestry where Alaba has taken residence for 2 decades. The two fall in love, and as with most of Robbins' couples, the mutual libido is enormous, and their love quite like something out of a comedic fairy tale. Cadra reveals that she recently escaped sati herself, and the two find a common bond in their defiance of death. Alaba tells Cadra about his encounter with a mysterious group known as the Bantam Doctors, who are masters of immortality. The two set off to the caves of the Bantam to learn immortalist practices. Through the remaining vibrations of the now empty caves, the lovers begin a daily practice of controlled breathing, regular fasting, frequent sex, and bathing in extremely hot water. Alaba and Cadra, successful in their practices and never aging, find they are constantly on the run, moving around Europe to avoid the threat of violence against them for their heathen practices. After several hundred years, they have settled and opened a perfume shop in 17th century Paris. When a group of monks threaten their lives, they try to create a perfume to take Stinky Pan to the new world with them. When time runs out, they attempt a sort of new transcendental meditation and become separated into different astral planes. Alaba completes the perfume formula with Pan using pungent sugar beets as a base and their voyage to the new world. Alaba ultimately loses not only the love of his life, but the precious bottle of sweetly scented perfume. In the present, the ancient bottle of perfume is stolen by Vilou while Priscilla is attending a dinner with Wigstaneby at the Last Laugh Foundation. Priscilla goes to New Orleans to retrieve it, but misses Madame de Valliere and Vilou. The pair are in hiding after witnessing the murder of Bingo Pajama. Later, Priscilla's relationship with Wiggs Danaba is put on hold by tragedy at the Lost La Foundation. But Danaba relays the good news that Marcel Lefevre and his good friend, the 1,000-year-old Alobor, will be coming to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and that he will arrive shortly thereafter. Alobor, Marcel, and Priscilla all convene for Mardi Gras, where they encounter Pan one final time. Priscilla recovers the bottle when Vilou and Madame de Valliere return. Together, they learn the secret of the mysterious beats, the perfume, and the story of Alobor and Cadre. In Paris, the story makes a final stop in another dimension, led by Cadre, discovering the way to immortality. The main message is summarized in the words spoken in Alobor's 8th century Bohemian dialect Alecta, loosely translated as lighten up. Cultural connections. A restaurant in Kennebunkport, Maine, is named Bandaloup, with the owners using the book as the primary inspiration for the design of the business. A similar restaurant existed in the Federal Hill neighborhood of Baltimore, US, between 1988 and 2003. Menu items at the Baltimore Eat establishment were named after characters and events in the book, while the suspension from the ceiling of a fully decorated, upside-down Christmas tree during the holiday season also garnered attention. A bookstore located at 709 West Smith Street in Orlando, Florida from 1991 to 1995 was named Alobor Books after the main character in the book. Project Bandaloup, a multi-dimensional dance company founded in 1991 by Amelia Rudolph, was named after the Bandaloup from Jitterbug Perfume. A hostel in Kathmandu is named Alobor 1000 after the book's character, inspired by his extensive travel and pursuit of immortality. A stage production was produced in Seattle at Cafe Nordo in 2019. Beit Alpha Nu del Tafalando Macronupsumpai, a historical Greek punk band, has taken its name from the Bandaloup Doctors. Alobor and Cadre inspired a composition by the Italian pianist and composer Stefano Bologna. Named Alobor e Cadre, the composition is included in his CD Joy in Spite of Everything 2014. Michael Hedges wrote a song inspired by Jitterbug Perfume which he titled Jitterboogie. It appeared on his Oracle album 1996. Shreve, the minor character Ellen Cherry Charles, one of the genius waitresses in Priscilla's group, later becomes the protagonist in Robbins' novel Skinny Legs and All, in which the group is also featured. Genius Waitress is also mentioned briefly in Still Life with Woodpecker, another Robbins novel. Release details. Hardcover, published in 1984 by Bantam Books. Category, 1984 American Novels. Category, Bantam Books. Books category, Bohemian Fiction. Category, Novels by Tom Robbins. Category, Novels set in New Orleans. Category, Novels set in Seattle. Category, Novels set in Paris. Category, Novels set in the Middle Ages. Category, Olfaction. Category, Novels set in Washington State.